My guests today are two musical superstars, Danny K and Kabelo, who have joined me. We're not allowed to talk about music. We're going to talk about shout today. We'll come on to the music afterwards. But Kabelo, I just want to ask you one question. It bothered me. Is it the aim of every entertainer to eventually be a talent judge, a talent show judge?
Well, I mean, I'd like to think that after paying your dues in the industry, people see you as someone who could know what talent looks like, you know, therefore call upon your services as a judge.
Do you enjoy it?
It was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Is that so?
It's actually, it looks fun when you get asked, but the actual doing of the job is hard, because to articulate, you know, at the drop of a hat, you know, and be succinct and clear and give the person direction, I'm not good with that. You know, I'm not good with that. I've got to write notes down, and they don't allow you to write notes down. You've got to like just...
This is live TV.
Live television. So it was very hard.
Danny, you started Shout a few years ago. I mean, it's been very successful. Everybody commends you. This is an audience that are more interested in the level of the rand, interest rates, inflation, and so on. Just give us some background to your campaign.
Well, this is very
very
linked to the level of the rand, the perception of our country. It affects tourism. Crime is something, and violence that transcends our borders. And brand South Africa suffers as a result. And I realized this when, in 2007, Lucky Dube, who was a global music star, was murdered. And I turned on CNN, and I saw CNN reporting on Lucky Dube's murder. And what did I think as a South African musician? I was embarrassed by what brand South Africa was suffering from that day. And this man on my left, who was a friend and colleague of mine in the industry, you know, we spoke to one another, and we said, the musical talent, the entertainment talent of this country need to get together to fight back. And we did that by forming a non-profit organization and an NGO, and calling on the top influencers in the country on one song, which was called Shout, and that was the birth of
Is this the old Shout?
Yeah, the Tears for Fears classic,
okay.
Which Kabelo was busy making a remake of it fortuitously in studio, and I heard his remake, and I said, this says so much about what we're trying to do. These are the things we can do with that. Come on, I'm talking to you, which we were talking to the country, and we're saying, let's start something. And it was a small seed that now, just, I mean, 5-6 years later, is I think a household charity name in South Africa. You ask people, have you heard of the Shout organization? And people know it.
So how do you keep it going?
How do we keep it going? You know, by, I guess, continually going back to studio, you know, going cap in hand and asking the musicians to join us. But I think at the core of like the driving force behind that is you know, believing, you know, between the two of us, believing in the potential that this country has. And carrying, what motivates us to also carry on is, I think many people start something and don't finish it off. And, you know, we believe that we've started something, and, you know, we're big advocates of active citizenship. And, you know, when we carry on, we inspire other people, you know, to carry on and start something, you know, wherever they're at. Because if we leave it up to the powers that be, you know, they're inundated with 1,000,001 things. But like the history of this country has shown time and time again that it's when normal citizens actually roll their sleeves up and get involved, that's when things change.
How do you get to them? I mean, to these citizens to contribute?
Well, I mean, through music. You know, music is a great vehicle to get a message across. You know, we've been blessed with, you know, a variety of platforms in this country to be able to speak and get messages across. And we fully exploit that. You know, Danny spoke of the influences that come alongside us to, you know, to get our message across, and people are willing to listen to these influences.
So do they download a song and pay for it? Is that?
So our model is typically that all the writers, all the musicians contribute pro bono to the organization. No one takes royalties, which is a music business.
Is there still money in royalties?
There's definitely. When I say royalties, and especially publishing royalties, songwriting is your pension in the music business, because you earn forever from it. The Beatles are testament to this. You know, they can be long gone. Hey Jude will always make their estates money. So we get all of that waived. We ask the public to take their cell phones out, SMS a number, and the song comes directly to your phone. You know, this is the new age of music consumption. And through that contribution from the cellular networks, they zero rate their cost. We get all the money, and we can in turn contribute.
So have you got an organization under you now that presumably accounts for the money?
100%. Yeah, everything is, you know, we're an open book. We always say that, you know, people can come and audit us whenever they want to. FedSure, you know, the good people at FedSure are, you know, doing our books, audit us, and just make sure that, you know, everything is above board, you know.
So you've got a number of projects. I know we were talking about apparently a library. They wanted to shoot this in library.
Yes.
We're in Nelson Mandela's office, which I haven't seen before, and I suggest people come here. In Central Street here. It's a wonderful museum. But tell me about the library. This is one big project that you're on at the moment.
Well, I mean, I think it's appropriate we're here at Madiba's, you know, shining light in Johannesburg, this building that epitomizes, you know, this great man, because Madiba was a great advocate of education. I think his biggest thing was education. And being a crime-fighting organization, we've come to realize that for the perpetrators of today, the guys hijacking you, the guys robbing ATMs, it may be too late to turn these guys around. But for the kid in a primary school who will either learn to read, not learn to read, matriculate, be employable, contribute, be a taxpayer, it's not too late. And building a library in a primary school, which is where we build our libraries from the money that we get from these songs, will have a direct impact on all the things I spoke about in the beginning of this interview: crime, violence, Brand South Africa. We'll develop a better, more contributing population. And that's what makes countries great.
Can people contribute books? I mean, is it something you're looking for, or do you build the libraries from? I
guess we believe in effective partnering. You know, we can't do everything. So there's an organization that we partner with called Breadline Africa. Okay. You know, they kind of vet the schools that we put the libraries in, but they've got a system in place that, you know, once the library is up, they make sure that the library is supplied with books, an interim librarian where need be. So
you're not going to become a librarian. I was just